their cemetery schools. Your father didn't say go to their cemetery schools. He didn't say get baptized and speak in tongues. He said, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all things shall be added to you. We're not some great scholars in here. We are seeking Abba Yah with all we got.
And is this saying too that is this saying that there were converts in Salonika?
Co-religionist means we share the same beliefs. You and I are co-religionists. We believe in Abba Yah. We believe in his son. We believe that we're Israelites. We are co-religionists.
So what, okay, because it says with gleaming eyes and a sickly face and skinny, high-strung physique.
So because of persecution, sometimes we didn't have food. So we would be skinny and frail, but we're still a Rubicon. We're still a Rubicon.
Okay, so, okay.
Read it from the top, just in case I missed it.
For proof, it will suffice to compare the Rubicon, sturdy, heavily built Rotterdam Jew with his co-religionist, say in Salonika, with gleaming eyes and a sickly face and skinny, high-strung physique. Hence, so as far as our knowledge goes, we can assert that Jews as a whole displayed a great degree of morphological disparity amongst themselves, as could be found between members of two or more different races. So when you read it as a whole, what it's saying is you can have someone like LeBron James, and then you can have somebody like skinny like me.
Right.
And our race of people can have all different features and types. That's what it's saying.
And for the sake of time, I won't. And thank you for that. Thank you. That's what we do, read for understanding. And I got a lot more, so I don't want to get bogged down. But if you get that book, what he just said, the brown Jews come in all kind of different morphological appearances. Cop diesel and thick to skinny and frail. But then he goes on and compares the Ashkenazi Jews, and they share the same, and they always look the same. Reddish hair, skinny noses. That's how he's comparing us, the Sephardim Jews, with the Ashkenazis. He says the brown Jews can come in all kinds of shapes and sizes, but the Ashkenazims, they always have the same look no matter where they are. No matter where they are.
Then, yeah, that just making sure for clarity.
Thank you.
That thing about Thessalonians, what you said, then that is
right.
Correct. That's correct.
So the Jews in Thessalonica, they wasn't as cop diesel. Maybe they was going through persecution, but they still was Jews. They still was brown.
Right. Yep. That's what it's saying.
Still was brown. So you got to go below the surface. So when I did my research for Rubicon, like y'all, I saw those pages. I'm like, oh, that's the cap up. Trump ain't no Rubicon. So I found this one site. It was selling this material here, and this is what the material is described as: dongle, tweed, pocket square, Rubicon. And this is what the Jews in Thessalonica look like, and Rotterdam.
Look like your color.
Rubicon. This is Rubicon. You see how they play word games and keep using different words?
Yeah, if you say Rubicon, most average people ain't gonna
know what that
means. It's a little small piece of when I Googled the Rubicon,
not
Rubicon, the
Salonika?
Yeah, it's a small territory.
Yeah, the Greeks took it over, and then the Romans took it from the Greeks, but we were there as servants to the Greeks. So that's who Paul was writing. This is confirmation who Paul was writing his letters to. Paul wasn't going on no Christian crusade, winning souls for Jesus Christ. Paul went writing letters to the Hebrew Israelites, trying to get them to come back to Yah through the blood of Hamashiach. That's what Paul was writing, who Paul was writing to. All those letters in the New Testament are written to dark-skinned Jews, Israelites. So this is the word Rubicon, family. It's brown, it's ruddy. And Arthur Kessler testified of it. Let's move on to our next resource. This is the Silk Roads. And I picked this book up when me and Queen was on vacation, getting ready to go on a cruise. And I bought it because You notice it yet?
Peter Franklin.
Mm-hmm. Open it up.
How far? Why is it like this?
They said it was a publisher error. The cover's on backwards.
Wow.
I said, I gotta buy this. And I only bought this book because the cover was on backwards. But when I got into it, I said, Abba Yah, you reign. Abba Yah, you're mighty. Because he tells the truth about the history. For the sake of time, let's go to page 106. Page 106 to 107, the Silk Roads. And this is also available online as a PDF. Those local, you can borrow this book anytime. Just make a donation of $99.95 and 85 cents. These people's wicked, man. These take my class is filling up fast. We run out of seats. You got to get into the academy. We bring out truth, no one bringing out wickedness, man. Teaching for profit. You're doing the same thing as Christian pastor. But you're a great. Let's not. The Silk Roads, page 106.
The Khazars themselves.
Tom.
The Khazars themselves did not adopt Islam, but they did take on new religious beliefs.
Uh-oh.
In the middle of the 9th century, they decided to become Jewish.
Uh-oh.
Envoys from Khazaria arrived in envoys from Khazaria arrived in Constantinople around 860 and asked for preachers to be sent to explain the fundamentals of Christianity.
So when we say they're converts, family, the world know they're converts. But we're dealing with their great-great-great-great-grands who their fathers lied to them. So when we sit down with, they try to sit down with Harry Rosenberg, he's like the most humblest one now. But the rest of them are turned against him like they turned against Arthur Kessler. There's another Khazar, Shlomo Sands. He got a book called The Invention of the Jewish People. He says we've been lied to. So when you go against your people, you become an apostate. The Zionists turned on these people. So your own people is admitting we are converts. But if you talk to one who is puffed up with pride, no, we the original people. Dude, let's read on.
From the page 107, from time immemorial, they said, we have known only one God, that is Tingri, who rules over everything.
A pagan.
Now the Jews are urging us to accept their religions and customs, while on the other hand, the Arabs draw us to their faith, promising us peace and many gifts. So let me read it again. Now the Jews, the true Talmudic ancestors of our people, were urging them to accept the religions and customs. And then on the other hand, the Arabs draw us to their faith, promising us peace and many gifts. Continue.
Yes, sir.
A delegation was therefore dispatched with the aim of converting the Khazars. It was led by Constantine, best known by his Slavonic name, Cyril.
Another one of Constantine's great-grandsons is leading this mass assembly that had this conversion of the Khazars.
And for the creation of the eponymous.
Yeah, you can skip it.
Yeah, I'll skip that one. And for the creation of their new alphabet, he devised for the Slavs Cyrillic. A formidable scholar like his brother Methodus, Constantine stopped on his way east to spend the winter learning Hebrew and familiarizing himself with the Torah in order to debate with Jewish scholars, also heading the Kagan's court.
Kagan is another word they use for their Khazarian leaders. Their Khazarian leaders were known as Kagans. So Constantine says, let me study up on this Torah so I can debate these Talmudic Israelite Jews and win the Khazarians to Catholicism or aka Christianity. So Constantine had enough sense, like, let me sharpen up so I can show these Talmudic Israelites up. So because I'm going to win these Khazarians over to Christianity, aka Catholicism. So he stops on his way to learn Hebrew. Read on.
When they arrived in the Khazar capital, the envoys took part in a highly charged series of debates against rivals who had been invited to present Islam and Judaism. Constantine's erudition carried all before him, or so it seems from the account of his life, which drew heavily on his writings. In fact, despite Constantine's brilliance, he was told by the Kagan that his comments about scripture were as sweet as honey. The embassy did not have the desired effect, for the Khazar leader decided that Judaism was the right religion for his people.
He decided what?
That Judaism was the right religion for his people.
So the Khazarian leader was impressed with Constantine and says, man, the way you recite those scriptures is sweet, but I'm going with the Talmudic Israelite Black Jews, and I'm converting my kingdom to Judaism. We got receipts that y'all are converts. Y'all are not descendants of the Judeans. Y'all don't fit the curses. For the sake of time, let's drop down to 109 to 110. The Silk Roads by Peter Frankopan.
Judaism had made considerable inroads into Khazar society by the middle of the 9th century.
By the middle of the what?
9th century.
What's the 9th century, y'all?
The 800s?
800s. Before the 800s, 850, when you said Jew, they looking for you and I. No one knew about the right-hand side Jews yet. They know y'all, the whole world, the non-indoctrinated, the non-racist world, they know the original Jews are dark people. Read on.
And even then, we were gone almost 700 years before that. You see what I mean? We were already kicked out.
We was already scattered all around Europe. The whole world knows we're the press. Yeah, that's the ghetto over there. That's where the Jews live. That's why the Jews got to wear hoods. Wearing hoodies, that's how we did, because we was shamed. We didn't want no trouble. So we walk through town with hoods on our heads. That's where the hoodies come from. You see them going to the ghetto. So we were all around Europe living in little ghettos before 850. Y'all just coming on the scene. This is lost history, family. Read on.
Apart from references in the Arabic sources to proselytization by Jews in the decades before the arrival of the delegations at the Kagan's court, and the fact that the burial practices underwent a transformation during this period too, the recent discovery of a series of coins minted in Khazaria provides strong evidence that Judaism had been fomented in Khazaria, that had been formally adopted as state religion in the 830s.
So for the sake of time, let's stop it here. What he just read is about the 850s, they see a change in Khazaria, the way y'all burying y'all dead now. And now y'all minting coins with Israelite stuff on there. Y'all minting coins with menorahs on there. So they said about the 850s, it's obvious Khazaria went through a change. The Hebrews built that country up now. This is receipts, family, receipts. Let's go to our next resource. This is a book. I downloaded the PDF. I have it on my drive. This is The Jews of Khazaria by Kevin Allen Brooke. The Jews of Khazaria by Kevin Allen Brooke. This is just the intro on page 13. Can you read this out?
Perhaps the most interesting aspect of the Khazars' history was their adoption of the Jewish religion.
Dead giveaway.
For centuries, the Khazar territory was a major region of settlement for Jewish refugees escaping persecution.
Who are these Jewish refugees escaping persecution? Israelites. Israelites. We heard about them. So let's make it to Khazaria. Rome trying to kill us. Read on.
And these refugees soon introduced Judaism to the Khazars.
We built that land that you know is Khazaria. We taught y'all how to build synagogues. We taught y'all how to manufacture the golden menorahs. We taught y'all all of that. Read on.
The king of Khazaria, Bulan, became convinced that Judaism was the true religion, and under his leadership and that of his successors, some of the Khazar people also adopted Judaism.
That's another witness. We read it in the Silk Roads. All these scholars are not going to keep repeating facts or publishing facts that can be refuted. If you did that in the academic community, you'll be known as a quack. No one's going to buy your books. So we got multiple witnesses telling you that these Khazarians, y'all converted, the Israelites converted y'all. It just was the Talmudic Israelites. It was the sons of those who crucified Messiah, but they were dark Israelites. This is lost research, family. The world knows this. Read on.
Jewish-themed coins were minted by the Khazar government. Synagogues and yeshivas, or yeshabas if we was talking,
Schools
were established in Khazaria, and converts studied the Torah and the Talmud.
Do we study the Talmud?
No.
La-ah.
Some Khazars underscored their allegiance to the Jewish faith by adopting the Hebrew script and Hebrew personal names, even to the extent of naming their children after Jewish holidays such as Pesach and Hanukkah.
You trying too hard. You gonna name your son Hanukkah?
You know what? That's just like us. That's like
That ain't us.
no, not us. That's like
That's the converts.
That's like what the people, the white people here do today. When we make something popular, they'll start doing it to like just like okay, you overdoing
the
it.
10th power.
Yeah.
10th power.
Oh, they wear these. Oh, we gonna wear it like this
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Oh,
Like
we gonna try to get dreads, even though our hair is super thin. You see what I'm saying? That's exactly what that seemed like to me.
So now that y'all converting, not only we gonna take Hebrew names, I'm gonna name my child after Hebrew feast.
I'm gonna call my son Pesach. That sounds.
I was talking about like how we name our children after things that we think.
Right. These people are crazy. This is just the tip of the iceberg. We got a lot to go. Come on, y'all. Let's go.
And Jews lived in many of the major Khazar towns. Khazaria exerted a tremendous impact on world history. The Khazars' persistence against Arab invaders eventually halted their conquest of the north of the Caucasus, similar to the role of the Franks in blocking Arabs from conquering more lands in Western Europe. The Khazars also had an impact on migration of many Bulgars, leading eventually to the establishment.
That's all we needed.
Oh, okay.
Page 3.
Page 3. The Khazars were described by Ibn Said al-Magharbi as having blue eyes, light skin, and reddish hair. Many other early Turkic tribes also had red hair. Chinese and Muslim sources indicated that the ancient whatever people living north of the Sayan Mountains along the upper Yenisei River had red hair, blue eyes, and white skin. For example, Gardezi reported a legend of the origin of the Kyrgyz people, wherein a Khazar nobleman named Bashard or Bashkurd befriended the Saklavs or the Slavs and called another group.
All we pointing out, family, is that the ancient world, they know the Khazars to have light skin, blue eyes, and reddish hair. That's why we went here. The ancient world knows them, if the Khazars, to be light skin or white skin, red hair, and blue eyes. Everybody with me?
Mm-hmm.
That's all we need. The Jews of Khazaria, page 28.
Part of Kiev, That's the capital of Ukraine, right? Yes, it is.
Wow.
Part of Kiev was founded by the Khazars in the early 9th century under the name Sambata. The Byzantine Emperor Constantine VII, he wrote that Kiev was also known as Sambatus in his famous De Administratio Imperio circa 950 AD. Similarly, Ivan Rusta and the Haddad al-Aman called Kiev Zanbat. The meaning of the toponym Sambata has aroused considerable controversy among scholars. Pritzak argued that Sambata meant Shabbat, the Hebrew term for the Sabbath, i.e. Saturday, which we know that's not.
Right.
If this is correct, it would confirm that many Khazars in Kiev honored the Jewish day of rest.
That's all we need for the sake of time. What you got, Al?
I just wanted to point out that the reason why they would think this and think Saturday is the Shabbat at this time is because Constantine already switched from 8 days to 7 days. So Herod changed from the lunar to a day of the week because they said Sunday was the first day. So they said, well, that means Saturday is the 7th day. So the Talmudic Israelite changed the day to Saturday before this.
Thank you.
That's why
we got to do so much. We got to keep reminding the new people when we read these documents, you still got to filter these documents and remember who's writing these documents. Saturday for us, or every Saturday for us, is not Shabbat. But what Shemaria is saying, by this time in history, our wicked Talmudic Israelite ancestors started following Rome. So for them in this time, they understand every Saturday to be the true Shabbat. We know it now that it's not. It's not. But all I want you to hold from here is research proves that Kiev was founded by Khazars. And remember what the Khazars did in Russia. You tried to take over Russia when they were collapsing. So now it's like you're reaping what you sowed. Don't get on the screen crying, showing me old women with glass all over them and babies. I don't want to hear about none of that. Tell me what you did. Remember how you used to tell a story when you came home from school and you smacked me and he said you stink, mommy.
But what did you do?
But what did you do? But mommy, he said you stink. But what did you do? Well, I did call his mama. You know what I mean? Tell us what you did to cause this, because now y'all paint yourself to be so innocent and Putin this big bad oppressor. Let's read on. Chapter 9.
The diaspora of the Khazars. The Khazars settled in Hungary, Transylvania, Ukraine.
Where?
Ukraine.
Where?
In Ukraine.
The Khazars settled where?
The Khazars settled in Ukraine, which was a part of the Byzantine Empire.
Where else?
Then they also settled in Spain.
Where?
Spain.
Who was in Spain first?
Israelites. Then they settled in southern Russia, the northern Caucasus, and then I don't know, the Azerbaijan.
They don't matter. We got the point. Why would they go to southern Russia?
Because they was fleeing from.
What did Putin take that?
Crimea.
What did Putin stand in front of when he did that interview?
The Russian icons.
And what does Russian icons look like?
Black.
So now y'all running to Russia to get around who? The other real Jews. Y'all always want to be around us.
I got you.
Because you know we know how to fight. You know we know how to get down. So now you're in trouble. You want to run and find the original black Jews. Because you know, come hell and high water, we're going to get it in.
We ain't seeing none of them in Ukraine right now.
You won't even let us get on the train right now. You won't even let us get on the train, not even our women.
But then too, you know, 10% now, we know 10% of Poland is at least these people. I seen the interview, the government from Poland said, you not coming here, blacks, Africans, or that's what they call us, you know, different people. But they say, you're not coming here. They said, we'll accept the white skin, But he was like, 'cause now they say it's because we don't want y'all bringing that Islam and all of that over here. That's what they say. But regardless, that shows you how they treat people. We'll just say for generalities, people of color, period. And you want people of color to feel sorry,
Sympathize for you.
sympathize, but he just openly straight up said, y'all ain't coming here.
Deuteronomy 28. And the stranger that is among you,
Shall rise up over you.
you see these curses are real. These curses not over. 400 years, they're gonna enslave. What it says, afflict and humble. It didn't say a total of 400 years of slavery. Oh, it's over. The chains are off. Slow down. You still got affliction
Jim Crow.
and humbling. This curse is not over. These strangers are now want us to feel sorry for them, but you had no sympathy for us. Let's finish this up,
At least
Egypt, let's finish that up. Egypt.
Egypt, Iraq, and possibly also in other places, at least a few intermarried with other Jews, particularly.
Stop. We can't gloss over these words. So these Khazars, you already told us their description. They're blue eyes, red hair, and
White skin.
but now you telling me they intermarried with other Jews. Well, me and my wife ain't intermarried.
Mm-hmm.
So who do they intermarry with when you say other Jews?
So they mix with the real Israelites, some of them.
So now you get people like Rambam, the great Talmudist, Maimonides. Rambam is very fair. So I wonder, no wonder you're a great sage, Rambam. No wonder you're a great Talmudist, Rambam. Maybe you are the son of one of these intermarried Khazars and a black Jew. You see how deep the rabbit hole goes? Now you got these great YouTube stars teaching Talmudic rabbinic Judaism, want to put Rambam up like he's some great teacher, and Rambam could be a intermarried Khazar following the Talmud. Be careful of these Hollywood Hebrews, these online social media superstars. Let's finish this up, Al.
At least a few intermarried with other Jews, particularly in the Byzantine Empire, if not also in the Kievan Rus.
Now, who's been in the Byzantine Empire forever? Byzantine is New Rome. Who were those Jews in the Byzantine Empire?
The Israelites.
The Israelites. That's who Paul was writing to.
That's the east side.
The east side of Rome. So we got receipts. You Khazars intermarried with us. Lost history, family. This is right off a website. It's really small, but you can see the link there. This is medieval quotes about the Khazar Judaism. Just for the sake of time, drop down to the red underline part.
The Khazars and their kings and their king are all Jews.
It's loaded with facts. The point we're bringing home is we know you Khazars converted. We know y'all not original. The non-racist and objective historians know you guys are converts.
That next line is it, though.
Go ahead.
All of the Khazars are Jews, but they have been Judaized recently.
Recently.
We
were born into this. Y'all were Judaized recently. This is untold history, family. Y'all sitting down? I gotta do this. This book you can find online as a PDF, and it's Kitab al-Khazari. It's the book of the Khazar. It's the book of the Khazars. Wow. Jacked up. All right.
got something.
Yeah. I didn't forget my USB adapter is acting wacko, so I gotta unplug. Let me see if it's gonna act right. I'm gonna try to unplug the camera real quick and see if this is gonna play right.
I think I used that and I went up there and it worked, but I don't know if that was.
The 1 week it was acting, it wasn't reading the data. So I unplugged it. Let me see if it's gonna read this. This book is written by it was originally translated by an Arab, and now the Khazars have been pushing it. And the backstory about this book, Kitab el-Khazari, they want to say that it's a myth, it's folklore. But the funny thing about it is, if it's folklore, why are y'all teaching it and reading it in universities? Universities have this book. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. So I'm going to read some highlights out of here from my PDF, and then to show you that it's inside universities, I'm gonna put up a couple of websites to show you that y'all want to say anything. If it's a myth, why you got it in the university?
They go through such, like, and this started in the 800s. So how, like, today people just go, oh, that's just Ukraine, that's just Russia, that's just, but really, like, it's crazy. Yeah.
Oh, first case ours. So, make sure. Hallelujah. All right. So, again, right? And the most recent copy of this was translated by a Khazar, and he put in his intro, this is all a fabrication. Why do you take the time to write about it if it's a fabrication? So, is it Sharon? For the sake of time, let me drop down to my highlights. So, I'm gonna make it big. I'm gonna lose my highlights. So this is supposedly a conversation between the Khazarian king and the Israelite rabbi who converted him. But again, they're going to tell you this is mythical, right? But for y'all to put it in your universities, y'all are still acknowledging the truth. So this is a series of questions, right? Let's start with number 25. Can you see it on the screen? Can you read that for us, Op?
In this way, I answered thy first question. In the same strain spoke Moses to Pharaoh when he told him, the God of the Hebrews sent me to thee, viz., the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. For Abraham was known to the nations, who also knew that the divine spirit was in contact with the patriarchs. He cared for them and performed miracles for them. He did not say, the God of heaven and earth, nor my creator and thine sent me. And in the same way, God commenced his speech to the assembled people of Israel. I am the God whom you worship, who has led you out of Egypt, but he did not say, I am the creator of the world and your creator.
Haven't we been saying this the whole time? He never said, I'm the God of the world. He said, the God of the Israelites sent me to you. Read on.
Now in the same manner, same style, I spoke to thee, a prince of the Khazars, when thou didst ask me about my creed. I answered thee as was fitting, and it is fitting for the whole of Israel who knew these things. First from personal experience, and afterwards through uninterrupted tradition, which is equal to the former.
So he says, I'm answering you how our text says, right? Are y'all sitting down for this? Number 27.
So back to the Talmudic rabbi, correct? He says, yes, but any Gentile who joins us unconditionally shares our good fortune without, however, being quite equal to us.
Say what?
The Gentile who joins us unconditionally shares our good fortune without, however, being quite equal to us.
It's all in the text. We're not making this up, and we're not supposed to treat them less than human. We're not supposed to be reminded them that we're the chosen people and you're just attached to us. That's not what the text says. It says, do not oppress a stranger because you were a stranger in Egypt. So all of our ancestors knew this. We treat strangers just like they treat us, just like we were treated in Goshen. And Abraham always treated strangers nice.
And you can tell, I don't know if I saw this with Brother Ebri or, we just watch so much stuff, but just like if it's a predominantly Black school, I've not been Brother Ebri, but if it's a predominantly Black school, if it's some whites there, we cool, we best, we friends, we hang out, or some Mexicans, et cetera, the non-Israelite ones. And then if it's the roles reversed, they put us away in a corner. Like if it's mostly white, they put us away into a corner somewhere. We always been such a nice people, like accepting and loving.
We got a brother I grew up with. We call him White Boy Wayne. White Boy Wayne looks white. His stepdad is Black as me. His mom is white. He ain't acting Black. This is all he know. Dirt bikes and drugs and blunt. That's all he know. So when you hear White Boy Wayne talk, if you didn't know him, he's Eminem. Nah, that's who he is. If a non-melanated person called me the N-word, Wayne gonna jump on him before I even get up. He ain't acting, he ain't fronting, he ain't trying. This is all he know. He grew up with us from snot noses, dirt bike stealing. That's all he knows.
And nobody treated
no one.
No
every once in a while we'll make fun. We kids. But he took it with a. And if you took it too far, he'll put a deuce up. Oh, that's enough. That's enough. And he knew we had his back. So what you're saying is we don't do that. We treat you as you want to. Come on. But I'm gonna crack on you like I crack on Gina. Gina come with some busted cats on. She got we're gonna ride her the whole day too. You ain't gonna be treated special because you white. We're gonna ride you. That's how we do.
So once again, any Gentile who joins us unconditionally shares our good fortune without, however, being quite equal to us. If the law were binding on us only because God created us, the white and Black man would be equal.
Say what?
If the law were binding on us only because God created us, the white and the Black man would be equal since he created them all. But the law was given to us because he led us out of Egypt and remained attached to us because we are the pick of mankind.
How did the Khazarian king respond? 28.
I see, Jew, I see thee quite altered, and thy words are poor after having been so pleasant. He ain't like that. He ain't just told him the truth, and he ain't like it.
Now, for you to say that this document, this book, the Kitab al-Khazari is a myth, but you got it in your universities, you're acknowledging that you know the Jews are Black. Read that again out.
If the law were binding on us all or us only because God created us, the white and the Black man would be equal since he created them all. But the law was given to us because he led us out of Egypt and remained attached to us because we are the pick of mankind.
This is in universities, family. For the sake of time, I won't take you to the websites. Fordham University teaches from this book. JSTOR is an online database of periodicals for ancient periodicals. They have this document. Why would your JSTOR site and the universities have this document if it's a myth? He just said that the Black and white man are not equal because we were given the law.
The law brings wisdom.
This is untold history, family. This is untold history.
I was just reading it. He couldn't do it. It was just like a person today, because he restated the Khazarian restated. He was like, so it's basically, he was saying, is this just for y'all only? And then the rabbi restated, if the Gentile joins us unconditionally, then they can serve in the good fortune. Like I see, you know how you talk and have a conversation with somebody and they're just trying to dig and dig because they ain't really, they knew the first time what you meant, but they didn't like it. So they're trying to see if you would change it.
And he put it in his face.
And now how ironic is it that he told them we weren't equal there, but they got Martin Luther King to preach, let's all be equal. So we can lower our standards to fit into what they want us to do. Because if we fight to be equal with them, we won't realize that we're supposed to be above all nations.
And who financed Dr. King?
The
Khazarians. The secret relationship between Blacks and Jews. This is volume 2. The volume 2 has a red copy. We have it here in the Bayat. It's available online. Now, the Nation of Islam published this, so because of Farrakhan, it has a bad connotation. But Farrakhan didn't write anything in this book. It was the Muslim scholars who wrote this book. But the Muslim scholars had enough sense, enough brilliance to recite, to pull for sources, all Khazar sources. Every footnote in this book is from a Khazar resource. Your own people recorded what y'all did in the Americas. Your own people recorded. So you can say this is anti-Semitism all you want because you got people duped. I'm a Shemite, so I'm not being anti-Shemitic when I'm the original. But your own people recorded this. Let's get into it. The secret relationship between Blacks and Jews, volume 2, page 19.
In fact, ocean-bound Jewish merchants had mastered commercial trade throughout the Western Hemisphere almost 3 centuries before the birth of the United States, ferrying African slaves and the commodities they produced throughout the European colonial settlements in the earliest days of the New World. World-renowned merchants and traders, they were among the framers of the system of capitalism.
The Khazars helped build capitalism
and helped pioneer the African slave trade.
And did what?
And helped pioneer the African slave trade, profiteering enormously from the horrific crime against humanity.
And if you would, if they have a footnote where they list the source, can you list the source if they have it, just so people know that these are all Khazarian sources that the Nation of Islam used to compose this book?
It says, from the brochure for the exhibit Blacks and Jews, the American Experience, presented by the Hebrew Union College, Jewish Institute of Religion, the American Jewish Archives, and the American Jewish Committee.
Khazarian resources, family. They were framers of capitalism, and that capitalism was built off African slave trade. Page 21.
And this is right here, is that you shall be sold to your
enemies.
So
enemies. So the curse says you're going to be sold to your enemies, and now we're finding out who was selling us. We're finding out who was selling us. It's not about a skin color, it's about the nation who we serve. I'm going to judge them. It's not just like all Black folks ain't Israelites, all white folks are not Khazarians. Let's stop that madness. Let's stop that foolishness. Stop being ignorant. Just repeating things you heard. You're telling us all of us are not the same, but you put all white people as the same. You sound retarded. Take your channel down. Get some understanding. The nation who served us, we're pointing them up. The nations who sold us, we're bringing them right to your doorstep. We're telling you, Not all white people hurt us. We're telling you the Pacific white people who did this. Page 21.
Jewish historian Dr. Cecil Roth wrote that the slave revolts in parts of South America were largely directed against Jews.
Say what?
The slave revolts in parts of South America were largely directed against Jews.
The slave revolts in South America in the South was mostly against Jews. Why are we revolting against you Jews? Read on.
As being the greatest slaveholders of the region.
We revolted against you because y'all are the greatest slaveholders in the region. The greatest slaveholders in South America. And when we say South America, for us, he said South America?
South America.
He's talking about when you get below Maryland, for them in those days, you're going into the South.
Oh, okay.
Some people even consider Maryland South. But for you and our generation, we don't say South till you get to Virginia. But in their day, the Mason-Dixon line. Below the Mason-Dixon line, you're in South America. In South America, we're revolting against Jews because they are the major slaveholders in the South.
Jews set up militias with the sole purpose of fighting the Black Maroons, the escaped Africans who were fighting to free their enslaved brethren. The Jewish militias murdered the Maroons and cut their hands off to award as trophies. The first Hebrew poem written in the New World, or skip to the
Highlighted part.
sugar fueled and expanded the slave trade, and according to Jewish scholars, Jews acquired large sugarcane plantations and became leading entrepreneurs in the sugar trade. The first Jewish settlement in the United States was a Florida sugar plantation.
Say that again.
Was a Florida. So that supports what you just said about South America. The first Jewish settlement in the United States was a Florida sugar plantation supported entirely by a labor of enslaved Africans.
Enslaved Israelites, enslaved Hebrews. We know who touched us. This whole class is Yah reigns upon Ukraine's pain. Isaiah 55:11, my word should not return unto me void. We got research after research. You people of Ukraine are fish people. You guys are Khazars. Now we got research saying you Khazars frontline the South American slave trade. Your first settlement in the United States was a sugar plantation. And now you want to show me images of little kids crying. Your school is blown up. Like I'm supposed to care.
This is helping me connect the dots because now it makes sense. Now it makes sense. First off, 1619, Virginia, South. And it makes sense why there's so many fish people in the United States. Because remember, like a few weeks ago or months ago, I said how you know you're not the true people, because if you were, you have a land that's promised to you by the Most High, but you don't want to live there. So I see now some of y'all, because like we said, they integrated, some went there, some went there, some went to Poland, Ukraine, Israel, and some said, oh, well, we're going to keep going to this new world, and they settled here and had the slaves. But then they still slick. That's why the cover of that first book is pulling back the curtain. They acting like, well, we just migrated here, and the white Europeans from Rome, which they got their judgment too, but it was just them, not the Jews, because we were persecuted in the Holocaust. But really the whole time, y'all was the ones that got us over here to make the money off of us. That's crazy.
And